Hi, greetings everyone. In this video, I will show you how to set up the basic options in Project 2013. Project comes with dozens of options, so you can tell it how you want it to behave. Many of the default settings work for most people, but there are few that you might want to change right away. To set the options, to go to the File tab and then click Options, and the Project Option dialog box opens up. So here we are. We are going to start in the general category, and that's the one that comes up. So the first thing you look at is the username and initials. That's usually set up when you install the project. But if you don't have the right username and initials, you can type them in there. That way they will be with all of your project files. The other thing you can change is the date format. You can change the date format here. You can actually change this one as you are working depending on what you need. If you want to see more of the date, click the down arrow and you can choose something that actually has the time in it, or even the day of the week. Or if you want to be really terse, you can just show the month and the date, or even just the day. So you can come back into the project option dialog box as often as you need to change that date format back and forth. The next category to look at is Save. So initially project saves to the most current project format, but if you work with a team that uses an older version of the project, you can always choose a different version and then the program will save all of your files in that format. So you can share them really easily with your team. So here you can change the format if you want. You can make it to 2003 format, the earlier version of the project. So you can share it with your colleagues who are using the older version of the project. The other one is the default file location. This is where the project actually saves the file and looks for the files. So when you open or save dialog box, it will go to that folder initially. So select the folder where you want to keep your project files. If you are a big fan of the keyboard shortcuts, you probably know that Ctrl+O will actually open the Open dialog box directly. So you can just open the file that you want on the project out of the box. Ctrl+O goes to the open page of the Backstage view. So there are few extra clicks to get to an open file, but you can change that. The secret is this checkbox. So here you can click on this, which will help you not showing the Backstage view when opening or saving the file. If you turn that checkbox on, then when you press Ctrl+O, the Open dialog box opens right away and you can select the folder and file that you want. The same thing is if you press Ctrl+S on a new file, it opens the Save As dialog box. Now another thing that Project 2013 does is it tries to nudge you towards the cloud storage. So when you go to the open or save a file, it automatically selects the SkyDrive, which is the cloud storage, and that might not be what you want, right? So if you to save your files on your computer, turn on the Save to the Computer by Default checkbox and that autosave. If you have lost the data in the past and you want the project to save your file for you without you having to tell it to save, turn on the autosave every checkbox and then put in the number of the minutes. Well, that's the kind of the trade-offs between the saving your data and being interrupted. So typically you want to do something like 60 minutes. That way every hour project will save your file for you. And you can tell it if you want to save just the active project or all the open projects. The prompt before the saving the checkbox is turned on, and that's what you want, because if you are working on what if scenarios, you might not want to save. So by prompting, the project will ask if you want to save, and you can say yes or no. The last section to look at is the Trust Center. When you go to the Trust Center, click on the Trust Center settings and then go to the legacy formats. Well, initially the do not open save a file is the one that's selected, and that can be problematic, because that means if someone sends you a file that they created in the project 2013, project 2003, you are not going to be able to open it. The other end of the spectrum, allow loading files, will let you open those files or save those files in those formats, but there's a bit of security risk. So really the best one is to click on the prompt when loading the files with the legacy or non-default file formats. Project will ask you if that's what you want to do, and you can say yes or no. Then there's the privacy option. This last check box removes the personal information from file properties on save. Well, what that does, if you turn that on and then go to the save a file, it will remove the author, the manager, the company, and the person who last saved the file from the file properties. So for example, if you are saving a file and planning on sending it to someone, just as example, you really don't want all the information in there, just turn on that checkbox. Well, with all the settings in the place, you can just click OK to close all the dialog boxes, and you are all set. Setting project options to match how you work can make your project sessions faster and more effective. You can change the settings at any time depending on what you are trying to do. You'll discover many other options throughout the rest of this course. Thank you.